Today's guest is one of the most exciting names in comedy. He's toured with Ricky Gervais, his viral clips have had hundreds of millions of views, and he will soon be releasing his new special, Bugatti Live. Today, we get into his upbringing surrounded by hippies in Devon, being suspended 8 times, a failed attempt at starting a self-help business, and a hilarious tale about a lad's holiday gone wrong in France. This is the fantastic, he's one of my favourites, it's Red Richardson. Red, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Just to get a sense of who you were as a kid, or who you were when you were younger, just quickly, thought I'd hit you with some quick-fire questions.
Okay, let's go.
All right, Pogs or Panini stickers?
Panini stickers.
Right. What were your feelings towards Pogs?
They were fine, but no, Panini stickers were massive.
Yeah, but you didn't collect Pogs?
I had a few for a bit, but you couldn't do anything with them. It was shit.
Oasis or Blur?
Oasis.
Okay. Best teen film, were you more of an American Pie guy or Scream?
American Pie.
Yeah. Best Spice Girl, favourite Spice Girl, rather?
It was Boys Posh, actually.
Posh, right. Okay, playing out or playing games, computer games?
Playing out, I think.
Playing out. What were you doing?
Football.
Top of the road?
Yeah, outside on the street, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Weed or booze?
Weed, but just,
Yeah.
They were both involved,
Okay, smoking behind the bike shed or library?
Bike shed, I reckon.
Goth or rapper?
Rapper, 100%.
Okay. Nice, very certain about that. Right, well, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
I think we got a sense of you.
Yeah.
So how deep did this love for rap go? Did you ever, you didn't have a rapper's name?
Oh, yeah, no, I did. My rap name was 9/11. Yeah, it was not good. I know. It was bad. My other mate, Jack, his name was GBH. I can't remember the other, but it was, we loved comedy, but we also loved rap, and sometimes the two meet.
And terrorism.
Yeah, and well, I just thought, when you're fucking young, you're like, oh, I'm just edgy as fuck, and this is, it was very embarrassing when you look back. But we never fully, it was always a joke.
Yeah,
like I said, like if someone had, not for me, because for me it was more comedy, but if someone had said to, my mate Jack, I think if someone had said, book a world tour, mate, I think he'd still be out there today.
Yeah. As GBA.
Yeah, he might have to change it now.
Right. And did rap music affect your? I listened to I wish I wasn't admitting this, but I would listen to nu metal.
Yeah,
and that would then affect the way I dressed and even how I looked at myself and life. How much was rap?
No, not really with
you?
me. Sorry, not really with me.
No bandanas.
No, my mates would. There was a few dodgy flat peaks. Remember and a few chains. Yeah,
chains.
Yeah, nothing like getting a chain for Christmas. You know what I mean? There's nothing less hip hop than your mum getting you a chain for Christmas. But no, I never did. I remember wearing a grey Nike tracksuit for a bit.
Matching,
and I shaved my head. Because it's such a middle class thing to do. You want to be, you're like, you can pretend to be this guy,
I can pretend I don't have any thing.
Yes. Yeah, no, that was my sort of life, really, but I also think, like, what's funny now is, country music is this big resurgence among kids because their parents listen to hip hop, so it's sad now. And so now people from like inner city ghettos listening to country and pretending to be where I was actually from. When I was driving around, I used to have a Peugeot 106. I took the exhaust off so it sounded louder. And I used to have bullet hole stickers in the side, again, as a joke, yeah. Put the bullet hole stickers in.
Hang on, bullet hole stickers on the side of your car, ironically.
Well, yeah.
Look at that guy with bullet hole stickers on the side of his car. He must mean it ironically. I reckon he means it ironically.
Yeah. But it was all kind of tongue-in-cheek, And then, but now there'll be a kid in Compton who's probably, ordering cow shit to his house and walking around with a cowboy hat on and pretending to be from Devon.
Horse and carriage.
Yeah. Going, all right, mate. Pour some cider out, While we were going around, listening to Fuck the Police driving through Devon lanes.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they're listening to Fuck the Pigs.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. When did you start smoking?
Probably about 12, probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first one?
Yeah. I remember having like a cheeky drag when I was like 9, but then when I went to school, it was like that was it. You know, about 12. Yeah.
12. That's bunking classes to smoke?
Yeah, do that. Smoke before school, behind our form. We used to have these. My school was like a lot of the class rooms were like those sort of, this like not shipping containers. You know, the makeshift
porter cabins.
Porter cabins. Yeah.
Yes.
So we go around one of them. There's a slope down into the woods, and we just go down there. And then there'd be some poor person, who's dinner lady, going, "What are you doing?" You go, "Mind your own fucking business," because they can't do anything. Yeah.
Who was buying the fags?
My mate Jason, his mum used to give him a 50-gram pouch of Golden Virginia, like once a week. I think he's dead now. I don't know. No.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes. Right. This mate. Do you reckon that's part of because you've got quite a croaky voice?
Yes, it could be that. I had a deep voice as a kid, but then it's added.
Yes.
Added to it. So yeah.
Exacerbated.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, I'm going to hit you with this. You won't enjoy this question.
Okay.
You might,
okay.
but I wouldn't.
Right.
Could you describe your act for me? It's a tough one, I know.
Brave, powerful. And very, very necessary. No, just sort of short jokes that just start and end, and that's it.
Well, but what about who you are up there? I suppose, and I wonder, I suppose, is who you are up there. The reason I want you to describe that is because I'm wondering if there's any of the young Red Richardson.
Yes,
in the act.
100%. Yeah. Slightly hostile, but wanting to be liked, but probably scared if I try too hard, they'll pull back.
Yeah.
So I go like pretend that I'm like I don't care because it's a safety net.
Yes.
As opposed to being like, "Hey guys," but then also I hate that anyway. The sort of "Hey guys" thing. So
you hate what's the?
Well, just hey,
I know what you mean.
I've watched people bomb and just carry on. I go, "Come on, stop the act." You know, just go, "Fuck, this is a disaster." You know. And they're like, "How's everyone doing?" "Oh, I was at the airport, you know, but whatever, you know, like it's just this sort of like, you know, and they keep doing it with the same enthusiasm. The audience fucking hate them and they don't stop. And you go, actually, it would be better if you went, "Look, I'm giving this everything. These are my thoughts, and you're just rejecting them. I'm clearly trying to make you laugh. So why are you so hostile towards me? You could at least just like I went away with my wife's friends often come around, and she's got these mates who have boyfriends and stuff, and we'll hang out. And I'll say a joke, and they'll look at me like I'm a fucking complete loser. But then they'll talk about like, "Oh, we got a wedding coming up," and I go, "Oh," and they'll tell me the playlist, and I go, "Great," and I'm like, you know, when I'm doing that, when I go, "Yeah, I don't mean it." So when I tell a joke you don't like, you could just go, "Ha ha ha ha." It's not that fucking hard.
Right. And have you always been like this?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, by the way, I completely understand.
Yeah.
Now, Aristotle has said, yes, I know.
Someone's been on Wikipedia today.
Can you see me looking up? I have to remember every week. Now, Aristotle has said, show me a child until the age of 7, and I will give you the foundations of the man. So, if we're looking at Red Richardson, age 7, is he going to see that you're going to end up where you are today?
I don't think so. Like a lot of like my mum and dad's mates and all that, they never thought, "Oh, that would be the kids." I was never a show off. I barely spoke in front of adults. I'd speak in front of people.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah, 2 brothers and a sister, but I was very shy. I didn't speak to people. I would like...
Where were you in the siblings?
Third child.
Third child.
So older sister, older brother, younger brother. But no, I didn't speak to people. I barely spoke until like, I know adults who knew me then, they're like, "Yeah, you didn't speak till you were sort of 10, you know."
So you were 28.
Yeah.
But when you were 7, you're not talking much. Can you remember that far back of the idea of being a performer? Was there any interest? Were you ever watching the telly and going, "Oh, I'd quite like to do that," like internally?
I love the fucking around of it and watching and going, "Oh, this is what it is." And like
what was that? What were you watching? Do you remember?
Just like so, Harry Enfield and Chums. I used to absolutely love that. Watch that all the time.
Yes. Were you watching that with your family?
Yeah, my brothers and sisters and stuff. And then Simpsons. I just thought this is, you know, that was everything. That show. I remember watching it. I still remember the Domino's ad that was on before it. You know, it was like that. I love The Simpsons. And I used to make people laugh. I remember when I was about 8 or something doing a little performance in a thing called, we called it the Bleep Show. Me and my mate would do this thing where I got a thing for Christmas where it would go beep and we'd say swear words, but it would be like you do.
What's the thing?
It was a little button that you could press and it just goes beep.
And that's all it did?
Yeah, that's all it did. So it was like I'd swear, but you do it like that. But it'd be in the corner of a classroom at lunchtime. It'd be like me, and then you'd get like 5 people on there.
So you've gone from 7 probably quiet, not talking, but then there's this bit of you, I suppose, that's a bit kind of mischievous, quite playful.
Yeah. Loved to mess around. And there was wild. I used to write song lyrics. You know, there was a point when before I spoke to anyone, I was convinced I was an amazing singer. So I'd go into rooms on my own.
Got it. It's like running before you can walk.
Well, completely.
You can sing before you can talk.
Elvis or Frank Sinatra go, I think I've got the same level of talent vocally because I'd sing on my own. I go, in my head it sounds amazing. I remember when I was 11.
Are you gonna give us a rendition now?
No, this is the worst one. When I was 11, I signed up to be in the school review at Christmas time.
Yes.
And I was going to sing Redemption Song by Bob Marley. But obviously I was going to do the accent. And I literally took my mum aside and showed her. And I was literally like, oh, pirates, yes, they're rubber. That was and my mum went, don't do that. It was going to ruin your entire... Because I just started secondary school.
Yeah, I mean, you're 11.
Stolen from the Jamaican ships. Awful.
You would have got cancelled at 11.
I know. But back then it wasn't cancelled. It would have been brutally mocked, you know? I'd be in the school canteen like, redemption. Yeah, awful.
Yes, okay. So there is this willingness to perform then if you're trying to get on the play.
But then it wasn't that. It was you know, it's a mix of the two. Where it's like, don't look at me until I say I'm going to do a Jamaican accent.
Well, when I started stand up, was still one of my best friends. He started with me. He quit because he hated comedians.
Yeah, that's fair.
But he was really good. And he said the kind of irony of being a comedian is you're kind of spending your whole life thinking, why is no one looking at me? And then they're looking at you and you think, why are you looking at me?
Yeah, no, it's completely that. It totally is.
Yeah.
But I always love coming like Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura. I remember seeing the beginning of Ace Ventura when they delivers the box. I couldn't breathe. And same with Dumb and Dumber. It was, you know, just those films were...
But why do you think that you had more of a relationship, if you don't mind me using that phrase, had more of a relationship with those films than other kids? Other kids would have loved Dumb and Dumber. Other kids would have found Ace Ventura funny. But can you look back and think why it was that had more of an effect on you?
Because I think with people, what I realised is that, like, from, you know, hanging out with my wife's mates, is that they don't care about comedy. They'll go, we're an hour a year for them. You know, even if you're their favourite comedian, we're an hour a year. But what those fucking bastards don't realise is we exist for the rest of the time. We're there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And we need more. But for them, a joke is, they wouldn't understand why you do a joke. Like, for them, a joke is, oh, look, my uncle got so drunk at the wedding. But an actual planned joke is like, ugh. You know, why are you trying to be funny about? Like, riffing, you know what I mean? Like, oh, have you seen the Epstein thing? They go, why are you talking about it? It's just unpleasant, you know? But whereas I thought this is really... Yeah, I love to do that, and I think I love making people laugh.
Right, yes, I understand. Did watching Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura and the Jim Carrey films, did it set off something in you that made you go, I want to do this?
No. It was actually like I wanted to be a footballer. I thought I was going to be a professional footballer, and then from about
were you any good?
I was good until I started playing with people outside of my street, you know, who weren't disabled, you know. No, when I moved...
Did you play at school then?
I played at school. I was in the school team, and I was in the actual B team when I got older. But I started smoking, and then it was like got worse and worse. You know, as you can imagine. But I was all right for a bit. Never nearly pro. Never that kid's going to be professional.
Just dreamed of it.
Yeah, I just thought. But when you're 9, if you're the best on your street, and they're the best, it's like when you start open mic, you know, the gig, and you're like, oh, well, us four are the best. What's going to happen to us? You know, he'll do HBO. I suppose if he's on HBO, I'll be on Netflix. And I'm going to be hogging Netflix. So he'll be on BBC. And then you realise, actually, this guy's mentally ill. He's got a drink problem. And we're all fucking delusional. So, like, you know, I think if I even went over the next street, I realised I was shit at football. But I moved to Devon when I was 10. I thought, I'm going to clean up here.
You moved to Devon.
And I met this guy, Sam Churchill. And it was the first day at school. And he was fucking just better, stronger, faster. It was
Messy.
like, yeah, but I was like second best in primary school.
Okay.
You know? And then got worse progressively.
Do you think that affected you not being the best?
I think, yeah. I also think the English system affected me. I think if I'd grown up in Spain, it was more defeat, more sort of Xavi Iniesta role. Whereas they were just hoofing it up, and I was, you know, still am very short. So it was just not.
Yeah. Okay.
I was too cultured,
You
I
like
think.
it on the ground?
Yeah.
Right, fair enough. Good
Yeah.
to know. But, so were you a class clown?
Yeah.
You're trying to get... But you've got... It's strange, though, because you've gone from kid not saying anything to then class clown, attention seeking.
Yeah, I think I talked to my mates. I would always be very vocal in front of my mates. In front of adults, I just didn't speak because
Right.
I didn't like the conversation. You go, so how's this? And it's like, you just shut up. You know, there's nothing behind this question. They don't mean anything, you know, is what I felt. And they go, so what are you doing? And are you enjoying that? And like, you're like, you're doing a thing because you have to do it. You're socially, you know, obliged to do this.
Yes.
And you can sort of smell it, I think, even as a child.
All right. Okay. And in what way was misbehaving manifesting itself? What kind of...
Everything.
What were you doing?
Just letting off fire alarms, stink bombs. I used to get those big bangers, you know, from France. Let them off, the ones you light.
Were you getting them from France?
Yeah. I go on holiday, and we used to go camping, and I buy them. We call like Bison 5s or something with the big ones. I remember letting one of them off you because we used to get the 1s and 2s, and we managed to get hold of a 5, which was like this. I remember letting that off in the school field and going, that was too much. You know
Why were you doing that?
boredom and just like, I don't know, make a noise, see what happens. It was.
Was it were you doing that and not working, or were you also academic?
No, I was working, but then I stopped. So I moved to Devon when I was 10, and I went to this.
Do you remember? Sorry, I'm going to pause you there because I selfishly want to know this to compare it to myself, but I moved from London to Brighton when I was 10, 11, and that had quite a big effect on me. So I'm wondering what effect that had on you.
Yeah, it did. It was quite weird because you just sort of went from one environment that was like, there's so many people, and then you moved to this other one, and it was kind of.
Sorry, where'd you move from?
From London to Devon.
London.
Yeah.
You moved from London to Devon, right?
And there were so many people, and you're kind of this thing, and then you moved to somewhere else where. And London's so odd, and there's so many people here.
And
mixed as well. And then you move to a place where it's like, oh, he knows his mum, and everyone knows each other. And it is a sort of, and I think it helps with humour because there's no one can really hide. You know, everyone kind of has to slightly be themselves. Whereas, because half the school bus ride, you sort of look into someone's fucking front room when you're going along the tiny lane, and they get out and you go, oh, his mum's got some shit new curtains. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of, it was always that, you know?
Yeah. Do you think you had to? I mean, it's a very young age to think of it like this. But do you think you had to reinvent yourself?
Not really. No, it was because I wasn't anyone yet. Really, you know. I think you can be moved around loads. I think. No, I don't think so. I think if I'd have been 15, it would be a lot different.
Yes. So you kind of moved when you were starting secondary school.
Yes, basically. I did year 6 in Devon. So up to year 5, I was in London.
Yeah, right. That's the same as me. And you were okay academically. Well, you started well, and then it went.
No, I did. So GCSEs, I did no well. I did well in English and history and stuff. So I would get I got A stars for all that. But then in maths and science, I get a U. So I get nothing.
So yeah, excelled at what you were interested in.
Yeah.
Why were you interested in English and history?
I loved history. I wasn't I liked words and stuff, but it was just easier. I found it easy for me, and I didn't understand why we would do other things. Like with maths, I went, I don't need to know what algebra is because in Morrison's they got a till, and that's what do I fucking need really?
I once got in trouble being in geography.
Yeah,
exact same logic. We had to learn where Belgium is, or whatever, and I refused to learn this piece of information because I said as long as the pilot knows, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I'm not walking there. I need to know where Gatwick is.
Yeah, that's true. Just show us Gatwick and the local. But also, I remember fucking science
logic.
when you mess around with a Bunsen burner and there'd be some poor kid and you go, look, I'm not being mean, but this guy's never using one of these again, and unless he's cooking crystal meth. But like, in which case, don't teach him this. But let him just enjoy being a kid, because there's no fucking way he's becoming a scientist. Do you know what I mean? You ever feel that? Like,
yeah. Well, what sets were you in?
Top for English and stuff. Maths bottom. Complete bottom for everything.
That's interesting. Being in the top sets and the bottom sets, you're kind of. That's quite unusual that you're getting both of those worlds.
Yeah.
So, in terms of your friends, who were you friends with? The people at the top or the people at the bottom?
No one in my friend. They were kind of like more. It was more like not top, but not sort of middle-ish.
I have a habit of banging on about this whenever I'm talking to people about this. But there's this idea, and this is cliche. The comedian's on the outside. We've all heard that. We all know that. But as soon as you say something like, "Oh, I was in the top sets and I was in the bottom sets," immediately you go, "Well, now you're getting a view of both of the worlds."
Yeah,
and it kind of puts you in a.
But it wasn't. It was a whiteboard, and then I'd meet my mates at lunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I didn't think I was in. I was aware that this is shit, but I didn't care. But then I thought these guys are nerds, but I don't care either.
Yeah.
Then I can't wait for lunchtime to go and fuck around,
have a fag,
and mess
football.
around with my mates. Well, and then we just started messing around. I used to I started making comedy films in school with a little camcorder and
Where'd
stuff.
you get the camcorder from?
From a media studies department.
You were making comedy films.
Yeah, when I was
school.
like 15, we made I made a show called The OCD, which was a piss take of the OC, which was like the biggest show at the time. And I had
That's fantastic.
No, it was actually I remember some of it. I done some all right gags in it. I thought.
Can you remember any?
I remember one joke was about my mate Brett. He did a good American accent. He was like, when you left me for Chad, I felt like Al Qaeda hijacked another plane and flown it straight into my heart. And we'd play that at the school review, and it was fucking great. And me and all the guys would show up. Teachers would hate it, and then like 8 of the outside, some of the guys would like it, and then they go, oh, that wasn't so. Someone would have to say a thing afterwards, like, not every film here is to what we like, but it's good to showcase. But it was a bigger hit with the students, I think.
Yes. Okay. It's kind of like now the equivalent would be that the audiences liked it, but the critics didn't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But so at this point, 15?
Yeah.
Any idea, you're mucking about the camera, you're making the sketches, any idea now that, maybe I could make comedy when I'm older?
Well, that's what I thought, yeah. And like I would, because I went on from like Jim Carrey to like Will Ferrell and Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. I was obsessed with
All
them.
American.
Yeah, but no, The Office was fucking life-changing as well.
Yeah.
Alan Partridge, huge. The Peep Show that came out when I was like 13, I think.
Office is 2001.
Yeah, so I was 12 then. I didn't watch that fully till I was 14. I remember first time I saw The Office, I had food poisoning and I was lying on a sofa and it came on. It was like Christmas time and I couldn't move. I was sweating. It was, feverish, horrible. I remember just seeing it and not knowing what it was. And then I watched like 5 in a row and I couldn't move, but I was laughing. I was like, whatever this is, I couldn't believe it. I was it was completely life-changing.
Like I was about to say,
Unbelievable. And then Alan Partridge, just stuff like, I was even talking to the 2 Irish guys and it's like, Sunday, bloody Sunday. I love that song. We all know that feeling. It's Sunday. You can't be bothered.
Washing the car.
Yeah. But I just would, and South Park as well.
Oh, okay. Right. And do you think those things are the kind of any of the DNA of those comedies that you've mentioned are in you and in your act and what you do today?
I mean, I hope so. I don't know. I don't think about that.
You don't think about that?
No, I don't.
Well, I'm asking you to think about it now.
Yeah. And I think, when someone goes, I was inspired by something, when you see someone, they go, oh, he's a version of him. You go, he probably would have been him, but this sort of propelled it. If you went, I see me in that or something. I don't know.
Definitely.
I'm not saying I saw me in those things, but I think we go, oh no, that would have been.
The reason that you relate so strongly to the comedy that you love a lot of the time, certainly in stand-up where it's much more direct, one-on-one, you the viewer and the talker.
Yeah.
The reason you love the person you love is because they're connecting with that part in
and you go identify with that.
Totally.
That existed, and you've just gone, oh, someone can do this, and they're doing it well, and it's amazing to watch.
Like, you now work with Ricky.
Yeah.
How do you, do you have to, I sound like I'm doing like a Hello magazine interview now, but do you have to pinch yourself?
Yeah. It is still, and we've done a lot of stuff together, and he's a fucking great guy, and he's not there's no sort of starry behaviour at all. So, but no, it's incredible. It's like one of those, amazing. You just can't believe it.
It's amazing that in your life that you're talking about, you just said it was life changing.
Yeah.
And then you cut to, and you're there with Ricky. It's absolutely
unbelievable.
incredible.
Yeah.
Right. So you make these videos, you make these sketches with the video camera.
And I wasn't in them, though. So my mate Brett and James, they were the stars, and I was happy to be I'd write all the dialogue, and they would act it out. And so I thought I'd happy to be behind camera.
Ah.
Yeah, it was sort of... So I wouldn't be in them, really. I couldn't act or didn't want it. I was sort of like, these guys are the
So did you want to be a director? Did you know that?
Yeah, I thought writer and director. Yeah. So, I would just be, I think so. That was it. And I go, I'd have a, Will Ferrell and a Ben Stiller, and then I'd be the guy who'd write the scripts and they'd do them. And I'd
You're
watch
Judd Apatow.
Create, and create the laughs, and then they'd go and, write the laughs.
At this point, did you kind of study it?
No, not at all.
You don't think you were watching comedy any differently to someone your age?
No.
Okay.
I enjoyed making people laugh, and I love the feeling of it. It's completely, it's everything. It's what I love to do. It's, and it's the funnest thing. Even if you're on a fucking, working in a pub or something, you create an environment. It's the most exciting thing possible. And when everyone's up like that, it's just sort of like, and everyone's in the mood. There's nothing better.
Yes.
Everything else is boring. It's like, people go, oh, let's talk about this. Oh, for fuck's sake,
Well, Charlie Chaplin says that a day without laughter is a day wasted.
That's true.
I agree.
I agree.
Agreeing with. Okay, so where we are now at school, and by the way, are there loads of detentions? Is it that?
Yeah. I got suspended loads.
You got suspended loads?
Yeah, like 8 times or something.
You get suspended 8 times is a lot.
No, I spent the last year, I wasn't allowed in the lessons anymore, so I had to sit with our principal in his room.
What were you getting suspended for?
I got in fights, swearing at teachers, skipping
Why were you getting in
school.
fights? Sorry, you don't sit, I've known you for a few years, and you don't seem like a violent man.
No, I used
Why
to get
are you
in
getting
loads.
in fights?
It was just the sort of... There was loads of fights at my school. We'd all get in fights all the time. It was just the sort of...
But what? Why are you getting in fight? What's happening?
Because people would disrespect you, Sean. You can't be seen to be weak, No, it was because it was a weird...
Were you the good guy in the fights or the bad guy?
Probably the bad guy. I don't know. You find a... Yeah.
All right, okay. I see why you now can't remember.
Yeah.
You just went round headbutting people, didn't you?
Yeah. But no, I used to bring boxing gloves into school and we'd have fights on the field. Yeah, it was great. And I remember we'd had a fight year 7 versus year 8. And the worst thing, this is in 2000.
Hang on. What year? This is crucial. What year were you in?
We were in year 7.
Okay, you're the underdog.
We were the underdogs, but we had a fight, and it was not as significant then as it was now. But our school planted a 9/11 memorial garden in one of the sort of
in Devon.
Yeah, in Devon. So they planted these trees for the victims of 9/11, and we had this big scrap on the field that spilled over, obviously, into the 9/11 garden, and everything got trampled, and it was this massive issue of like disrespect. And I think they thought, oh, was this? No, it was like, no, it was just an unfortunate
You were kind of like the Al Qaeda of that
Yeah, probably.
that garden.
But it was
You
just
knocked the garden.
when you're young, we were fucking bored as well, I think,
Yes.
really bored. And it was sort of weird being in the countryside because there isn't the implications that someone from a city deals with, which is knives or genuine violence. So the worst you're getting is a black eye.
Yeah. Okay.
So the stakes were so low. So it was just sort of, and it was kind of, everyone did it. My brother's mates did it. So I lived in a room with my older brother. And his mates were fucking wankers. I remember being asleep, and one of them shot me with a BB gun at like 11 at night, and this searing pain.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Yeah, no, but it was you can laugh. And used to get gaffer tape to the seat, and then, but it was all. I never thought. Yeah, all the time. I remember. Do you remember birthday beats? Did you have that?
What, did you just getting punched
On your
because it was your birthday?
you get battered on the bus. I remember paying this guy, Will Woolett, £2.50 not to fucking hit me on my birthday. It was unbelievable. But it sounds like, when at the time, and I still don't think of it as traumatic. I just went, that was just the culture of the day. But then we were, me and my mates were sort of, would like that with, other people. It was just a sort of weird... It was what was known as toxic masculinity.
Which brings us full circle.
Yes, here we are.
Stay toxic.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been Red Richardson. Goodbye.
Exactly.
Okay, right. I hope you don't mind me asking this. What the fuck were your parents doing? If you're getting suspended 8 times...
They were just troubled kid. I remember at one point my mum had a meeting with the headmaster and they started putting fish oil secretly in my food. And I don't know what that was meant to do. But but it was also like, I don't know. I think they always thought I was going to be right.
How can I can't talk to you? I feel like I can leave. I'll just let you carry on talking. Right, so the fish oil, did it work?
I don't think it did work.
No,
No,
I don't think it did.
No. But it was just, I think they just thought, he's just got, this is a phase and it will pass. And they were right.
So were they quite, I'm going to guess from that, were they quite liberal then?
In a way, yeah. But I think they just thought, what the fuck are you doing? But then just thought,
there wasn't a serious chat. There wasn't a serious...
There probably was.
You can see why I'm asking this.
No,
You're suspended 8 times.
There's probably loads,
Right.
It was just sort of like my mate, Liam, he got suspended one more time and he got expelled. Yeah,
What was that for? Do you remember?
It was a Lynx lighter fluid prank that went wrong in the classroom. He did the, and it got the guy in front, and it set fire to his jumper. It wasn't that, but yeah, I know. It was quite ridiculous, yeah. Do you remember the Lynx Africa?
So, in other words,
yeah,
he got expelled because he set someone on fire.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So how are we looking for college?
So then for my GCSEs, which I was sat, I had to do my lessons in another room. I then got like 2 A stars for English language and literature, A star RE, A star history, and then then I went to the 6th form because which
is a continuation of that school.
Yeah, and then that's when it really went off. I just didn't fucking go in. I didn't do anything,
So can I ask there? You've got, before we get to college, there's this interest. There's actually an interest in comedy, which is, going the extra mile compared to most kids. You're actually making comedy. You're thinking about writing the bits, directing the bits.
Yeah.
Now we're at college. That's all gone.
No, I still made stuff there.
What were you doing?
I made what did I make? I made a fake. I made a film called Mock Stock, which is a fake gangster movie. There's a 5-minute shot of a car reversing that I don't know why I didn't cut down. Yeah, it was. What else did I make? Made a piss take of Football Factories, which came out around then. But it was like just this sort of stupid hooligan film.
What did you study at college?
Yeah, I think I did media studies.
That's where you would have got the camera to carry on making things.
Yeah, so carried on making stuff there. And then I did all right. I got like C, D or something, but enough to get into a really shit university, which is Kingston, and did history there. And that was like,
Oh, you did go to uni?
Yeah, but I didn't. So Kingston was like, my attendance was probably like 10%, but I did it to get out of home.
Yeah.
And I went then,
you went from Devon to Kingston.
Yeah.
Weed?
Yeah.
Lots of weeds.
Lots of weed.
Just drinking.
So Totnes, where I was, is a huge There was just, it seemed to be everyone was, there was a weird mix of like these sort of farmers' kids and then people who, and I've got a joke about it in my set, but like, people who were like called Brave and Miracle and Silver, and there was this alternative way of raising your child with sort of 60s hippies who took too much acid, who'd had kids.
Steiner schools.
They were Steiner. There was a school called Sands as well. And they were like, go into the field and draw what you see. And,
yes.
And if you don't want to work, you don't have to. And guess what happens then? You know.
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of
Casualties.
But also, there was a weird amount of deaths in my town. Well, I remember talking to my mate, and I remember like there was about 13 people who died in the car accidents, suicide. There was just weird drug overdoses constantly.
Well, that's actually something that I want to ask you as well, is how much of who you are do you think is made by where you grew up? And that could be before you were 11 in London or Devon. Do you think that who you are is actually defined by the town? Do you think you
so.
are?
And I see my mates, you know, I haven't seen, but there was so much fucking around, so much piss taking, and so much like, look at this guy. And, you know, anyone who's sort of, you'd see someone like, you turn up in dark glasses and it would just be over for them, you know. And it was it was like, this is fucking stupid, you know. And because you had to be in London, there was a sort of, like, there'd be people and you meet like a rich kid from London would still be like, yeah, so what's going on, like? And you're like, you know, that you couldn't do that where I lived. And people tried. Yeah. They really tried. You know, they would try and you go, what the fuck are you doing?
What, try and be cool?
Well, we'd try and be cool, try and be like a little bit of a voice, you know, and they're like, yeah, so what's going on? You go, what's that? What the fuck are you doing? And be absolutely destroyed, you know.
What happened to, what was expected, I suppose, of the people that, you know, your friends, and you, I suppose, the people in your school, college, what was expected of people where you grew up?
I think the thing is, it was a town, so it's a middle-class hippie town, but there was also working class. So there was the divide. There's the hippies, and then there's a sort of the working class element of it. And I think,
where were you in that?
I'm middle class, obviously, right. You know, yeah. But like, fucking hell, Sean. But like,
I don't know how obvious that is, though. By the way, well, just you know, I know you, yeah. So I know, but I don't think it's, I don't think it is blatantly obvious.
But like, also, I don't. It was a state school, and so there was a lot of farmers in my school, and then there was a lot of, you know, the sort of like, you know, I mean, you could go around to some of my mates' houses and their mum's like fucking doing naked yoga in the garden, you know.
Okay,
and
right.
You walk through the kitchen and you take one look and you're like, not saying anything now, but you're done for the year. You know what I mean? Like it was, you know, there was a lot of that.
Okay.
And no, well, I know I'm middle, maybe up. I'm from a media background, so my dad was a director, so that's probably tied into. I mean, definitely.
Directed what?
He comic strip and stuff. So he was with that used to make all the early 80s, well, yeah, 80s comic strip films.
How did that then not have an effect on you?
Well, it obviously did. I just don't see him. You know, you never think, you go, that's what he's doing, but obviously did it. What, growing up around people who did it, I think, again, leading back to what we were saying about me fucking around in school and the other guys, is I was obviously, I'm kind of very much the Chet Hayes of British comedy. Where it's like, you know, you look back on it, and at the time I was like, I'm one of them because I go to school with them, and you know, we're at the same state school and but actually it's like, no, I've sort of I'd seen people make it, you know, and like my dad's mates were, you know, Rick Mail and stuff like that, and you watch these guys, and so no, definitely not working class. I am, you know, yeah. But it was, I think, that huge effect.
But if you've grown up around these people, it was very feasible that you could do that. It wasn't this, I think that's totally alien thing that you would never be able to, never in a billion years believe you could do.
No. So I think it was just what you did, in a way. You know what I mean? And it was like, and there was I mean, I used to write with my mate, and he's, you know, he's still there, and like, I think the difference is that he went, well, this is just something I do for fun. You know, there wasn't, whereas I grew up in an environment where, oh, you can do this, and that was really, you know.
Did your dad help in any way?
No.
Advice?
No.
Nothing, no insight into comedy?
No, he'd talk about his own thing and you'd listen and learn, but not really. We've completely, I mean, we don't have the same sense of humour, and it's, yeah, really, at all, you know. Actually, my mum is more my sense of humour than my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It sounds like it almost doesn't matter how it goes at school, how it goes at college. It's all you're gonna be okay anyway.
Yeah, and maybe that's coming from a middle class background. I don't know if my working class mates at school had that same feeling.
Fine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was pretty much. I remember being like, at the school, I would say, there was, of my friends, I definitely had the biggest house, easily and stuff like that. And maybe that I had an arrogance that came from that, which I now reflect on that I didn't feel at the time.
No, you wouldn't have felt that at the time.
No, but I was sort of like, fuck it, fuck every, and this is fine.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
They had it, but maybe there was a sort of actual respectability about their arrogance because they didn't have the fucking safety net that I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Understood. Right, yeah.
I remember once a teacher, I was walking up the hill and the teacher walked along with me. He's like, your mate's fucking around, but you're part of it, but you don't fucking... And he gave me this chat. I remember thinking, what a dick at the time. And I look back on that now and go, no, he was right,
Oh, what was the chat? Sorry.
It was kind of like your mates, you're in with this crew and they're but you can fuck around. You think it's all right, but, it was almost like, you're fine. And he was, I think he was right, in there. And the thing is, like, I'm not, my parents don't have money. They don't give me money. But, like, it was different, completely, definitely way better off than, especially then,
Yes. But right. Okay. So you're at college and then you get, what's it, C's?
Yeah.
There's a few C's. Where's comedy now?
How
far away are we?
I was still writing. I write scripts all the time.
For what though?
I wrote a movie when I was 19 without ever doing a beat sheet. I wrote 160 pages of dialogue.
What was it called?
It was called Emotional White Male. It was about a singer-songwriter who uses folk music to have sex with women, and he's like a bad guy. And I wanted it to be like a Ben Stiller movie.
Excuse me, Netflix. Are you listening? You've got to greenlight this movie. Emotional White Man. That sounds so much like the film of that time. Ben Stiller, Will Ferrell, Owen Wilson.
And he had a rival singer who was, bigger than him, who would be the sort of baddie Will Ferrell type or whatever, and it would be a Ben Stiller and an Owen Wilson trying to become,
That's amazing. I wrote Ghostbusters 3.
Nice.
I wrote Ghostbusters 3 on
That's the way to do it.
That I still think would have been the best sequel.
Yeah.
But
how old were you?
I secondary school.
Yeah.
I was at secondary
that's amazing.
school.
Yeah.
But I do know the storyline very, very well because I sometimes watch it in my mind to go to sleep. Anyway, I'm okay.
I watch it in my mind to go to sleep. Have you ever visualised the premiere?
No, have you?
No, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, it sounded like you.
Yeah. Just like,
That's fantastic. Well, but if you really have done that, by the way, you could, if I was someone else, you might make the suggestion that that's manifestation.
Yeah, of course.
And and then there you are, making stuff with Ricky Gervais.
I've had psychotic walks where it's just not enough. Where it's like, you're winning the EGOT or whatever, the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Turner Prize or whatever. What's the final one? I can't remember.
I've got
Tony. That's it. The Turner Prize.
You mean Chortle?
You
mean Chortle?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got that sorted.
Best club comic.
But were there any other career paths?
Yeah, me and my mate, we started. We had no qualifications, but we decided we were going to do a life coaching course.
You?
Yeah, me and my mate Orlando.
Right.
We just get pissed every day. We used to buy a load of, we get 8 Castlemaine 4X. Remember those beers? They don't sell them anymore.
Yes, I do.
We 8 for a £5 and we go down to Veer Island, which is a place in Totnes, and we just get we drink four lagers, get hammered, and just think up these ideas. And we thought of a life coaching course. Don't know why. We had no qualifications whatsoever. We called it Life and Soul. We got as far as making flyers and posters for it. But there was a guy, he ran this centre that sold like crystals and healing stuff. And we put a poster up around town and he went round ripping them down because we were rivaling his business.
Oh, is that why Life and Soul didn't take off?
It didn't take off because he did that. But we got told, we said, what happened to our poster? When he came and ripped it down. He was about 48. We were 18. He could have just left us to it. It wasn't going to last because what we do, we'd have a divorced, suicidal man at 48 and we'd be like, oh, do you want a Castlemaine? You know, like, well, that's not going to help anyone.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But,
you watched The Office and then you end up working Ricky Gervais. If you wanted to do a Life and Soul, you know, mental health, I mean, anything could happen.
I wasn't ready then. I don't think I'm ready now. But I remember there was a revenge night strike where me and someone who won't be named, well, I didn't do it, but I was there, pissed through the letterbox of his shop at 11 at night as a revenge strike. And we scrunched a few of ripped up a load of his posters and threw them through, and then threw a Life and Soul one over the top. So he knew it was us. He fucking hated us. He went, you did that. And it's like, but you can never prove it because we left our calling card. And that's what happens when you fuck with the big boys.
I don't reckon he's a fan.
No.
Right. So you're writing scripts. You've got this, seems a kind of almost obsession with making comedy.
Yeah.
But realistically in your head, how is this going to get done?
When you're young, you're fucking stupid. You know, I think maybe I had an arrogance, but you think, oh, well, this is gonna happen. I remember it was sort of like, I remember even you'd watch a bit of like, you know, a guy would be in The Sopranos and he'd be in it for 5 seconds, and I'd always go, imagine being that guy, and you just get to say that for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? It's sort of like just to be involved in something was so. But I did have dreams of like, you know, big stuff. I thought, oh, I want to be sort of English. You know, making English Will Ferrell movies.
But what's interesting, by the way, is none of the people that you've mentioned, British or American, were stand-up comedians.
No.
That Harry,
I watched Eddie Murphy for the first time when I was like 17, doing stand-up. I would say, for you're a bit younger than me, aren't you? 36. You're 36. I'd say that's quite old. Yes.
To be introduced to at 17.
So I knew about Bill Hicks when I was about 14. Thought this is cool. But so with stand up, I didn't know. British stand up to me was guy in a suit, you know, talking about something I knew nothing about.
Yeah.
And it was fucking. I just thought it was shit. You know what I mean?
I didn't like it.
It wasn't, but I remember it just didn't. It was the sort of thing that came on TV. You know, we were watching South Park and stuff, and then it was this sort of and you. I just didn't.
Televised British stand-up of the time was very clean.
It was very clean. I didn't get it. And then I remember, so I'd watch Ricky Gervais's, was it Animals? I remember watching that.
Yeah, Animals, Then Politics.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is amazing. But what I thought happened, and I thought this till my first gig, was that so Ricky just got a sitcom, and then I thought, you get a sitcom, you make that, then you do a tour or whatever. And then... So I did my first gig, and I thought, when I saw like clips of Russell Howard Good News or Live at the Apollo, I thought they filmed that in their room and sent it in. I didn't know there was a circuit. You know, I remember doing.
What do you mean?
I literally thought that the act would go and apply to
McIntyre. Michael McIntyre, 2008 or something.
I thought he films this in his room or whatever, and he sends it, and they go, "Oh, this guy's good. Put him on." I did not have a clue.
A self-tape of their set?
Yes.
You thought they sent it a self-tape?
I literally was like, I didn't know. So my first gig, I did the Bill Murray, Angel
Comedy
the old
Club.
Angel,
yeah, in the Queen's
with
Head.
Barry Funds,
yeah,
emceeing. And I remember doing my third gig at the Hideaway, North London, and they went, "Where have you played before?" I went, "Oh, a gig in Angel," and they went, "Oh, Barry Funds." I was like, "How do you know him?" Because I thought it was just. And I remember the first gig going well, and I go, "Oh, it's probably next time there'll be a producer in, then I'll be like doing that. I'll have like Red Richardson's Good News or something." You know, it's an arrogant, stupidity to it.
So do you think there's anything from your school life growing up in Devon, or even later on your teenage years, that really helped contribute to you doing that first gig?
Yeah, my mates always said do stand up, and I remember even being in like year 7, we had this thing where you had to create an island and pick which job people would do. And my mate, not my mate, she was just a girl in my class that she was like, "Oh, Red would be the stand up," and it was that sort of thing of like,
oh, that's so cool.
And I remember my mates all went into saying do it, and I was writing the scripts, and when I was 25, I remember getting me and my mate Adam got really smashed. It was like 4 a.m. in his flat in Brixton. He was like, book a gig. You got to actually book a gig. Because I've been saying for years, yeah, I'll do it.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, and so he made me and got a laptop out and we looked for a show. And luckily the first one was Angel Comedy because it's the best place to do it.
Very good.
There's a chance I go in,
Great club.
do a terrible gig and go, I can't do this, you know?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You know, really.
I think you're lucky if your first gig goes well. Mine did too. And
Yeah.
I mean, who are
What
these
did you think after it? Like, I've done it, you know, it's like...
I had been going to comedy clubs on my own for years.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
it was very different. I wanted to get to the Commedia.
Yeah.
Which is the kind of was
Yeah,
certainly the flagship club
Yeah.
back then of comedy and
Yeah,
price.
I didn't know. With Eddie Murphy, I just thought, oh, he's just so funny. He's just practiced this in a room and gone out there in the leather suit. You know, because you see him act and you go, well, that's just who he is. You don't see the clubs or anything like, you know, the circuit or anything like that.
Yes.
And I didn't know anything. It was a while of like not knowing about Off the Curb or anything. You know, like that sort of
Comedy agencies.
You know, when people, comedy agencies, when people come in and they know I didn't know about the circuit. I knew about the comedy industry and world.
You just didn't know about the business.
No,
side
not the
of it.
business. I knew about TV, but didn't know about the stand-up circuit because it wasn't like a. I mean, my mates didn't watch stand-up. I remember actually watching a Frankie Boyle DVD with my friend, and he went, and we watched him. Like, this is so funny, and then he went, actually, my brother's just told me that he fucking went and watched Frankie Boyle in Plymouth, and it was the same jokes as this one. And I was just like, I thought, oh, he's just gone up and gone, oh, what am I going to talk about?
Right, you still thought that.
But this was young, though, you know, maybe 17, 18, or 18,
yeah,
whatever.
but for me, I knew.
Yeah.
I'd already been going to the clubs
Yeah.
and obsessing over these people, and
Yeah.
they would come back and I would go, I'd see Mickey Flanagan come out.
Yeah.
And I remember with Mickey saying to my friend who was next to me, this guy will be famous.
Yes,
I remember
really.
calling, he was a
He's
star.
amazing. Yeah,
He was just a clear star.
Yeah.
He was opening. Imagine that.
That's
I watched
crazy.
Mickey Flanagan opening at
Absolutely
Comedian.
crazy.
It's
You hear about like
insane.
those Comedy Store like 2005 lineup when it's like Mickey Flanagan, Kevin Bridges,
Oh,
and then like fuck McIntyre.
but you go further back and you see bills like Mark Lamar, Jack D, and Lee Evans.
Yeah. And I bet you some nights it didn't go well. You know, someone sat there going,
I know.
I didn't laugh once. And you're like, well, that's not funny.
So when do you think, looking back then, the career of being a stand-up comedian was probably furthest from that being a possibility?
Yeah, before it, I don't know. I think it was just sort of a haze of just stupid. Like when you're young, you've got time, and you don't really think, I'll get to that. You know, it's sort of. But there's been times when, not that I'd ever fucking quit. I've never thought. I've had half-second thoughts that barely last. You know, but
Yeah.
that they've been out once where not even It's been like you go, oh no, what was that? You know.
Yeah.
There's been
particularly
times.
after bad gigs, do you mean?
No, just. If I had half thoughts of what would I do, but there's nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I'd shoot myself. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's
Yeah.
You know, because what else?
Sure.
What's the point?
Yes.
Look after your kid. No, I'm kidding. What are you gonna do? But there's been times in stand-up, not that I've ever thought of quitting, but where it seemed like this has become, industry-wise, not what I signed up for, and I don't recognize the people in it. It became earnest, fucking shit, and everything on TV was bollocks, and everyone doing it. It was more about.
Can you just tell us what you really think?
Well, yeah, okay.
Please,
But
Red.
There was a
Stop
period,
holding back. Come on, open up.
There was a period where everyone was serious, and it was all cause-driven, and the jokes seemed to be the final thing. No one was fun. The people at the top didn't seem fun. You go, what am I going to rise up and end up there at some fucking playing Pictionary at a fucking dinner with these twats? You know what I mean? It was just like, that was a dark period for me.
It was a dark period.
Yeah.
It was a dark period for me as
Yeah.
well.
But you know,
For
when I
us
went,
all.
these guys aren't, they're serious.
Yes.
They're like fucking, may as well be wearing berets. It was like, the whole thing got really like, ugh, what's this?
Right. Okay. And so the idea. So you thought, I see. You thought perhaps that the industry itself of of comedy and stand-up comedy was going in a direction that maybe you weren't going to be able to go along with.
It was depressing. Oh yeah, it was like someone had just, it was this thing I thought, and they gone, no, it's not this. Boom.
Yes.
And I went, oh, okay. And that was that. I think that was when I felt furthest away, and you could do well at a show, but it didn't really matter, and it wasn't, it just didn't matter.
But I'm sure you've had to talk about, I'm sure you've had to talk about this lots elsewhere, but of course then you took, you went online and you made videos yourself.
Yes.
You took that into kind of your own hands and you exploded online. What I like about knowing that and listening to you today is if you wanted to, you can make the thread between Red and by the way, for the record, I do. I don't, when I'm, talking to people, I do make those connections and believe them and think that you and your friends mucking about with the camera is totally connected to you decades later on your phone running through a field saying, stay toxic. That's not a coincidence.
No.
There's kind of an entrepreneurial, you don't want to use that word, it sounds wanky, but there's someone that loves comedy.
Yes.
And isn't going to stop doing it just because the industry's going that way.
No, you find another way in, because it's all I'll do. There's nothing else for me at all.
Yes.
And so you go, well, and there was a lot of, and the other thing is, when I thought I was ready, I wasn't. And I'm actually thankful for the wilderness years of, which, it took me 10 years to get any sort of traction,
Do anything to go back and have the wilderness years.
Really?
I'm so jealous.
But they really, without those horrendous, the sort of very fucking po-faced years of comedy.
Yes.
There wouldn't be this.
Yes,
now,
precisely. The
because
reaction to
it builds and then it goes pop, and then we'll be back there in 5 years, and I'll be, and then you sit them out again, and then you wait and you go, well, look, and you're loving this now. He's talking about, some famine going on and his mental health for an hour, but in 3 years you're going to want the funny fat guy back. So.
But listen, before you go, I'm aware that although you alluded to there being no women when you were a younger man, there was once a girl in your life, and I think, am I right to say she left?
Oh yeah.
She went travelling.
So me and my mate Jack, we used to go out with two best friends, and we were best friends. Shout out Sabrina and Florrie. Actually, get on with them now, but they split up with us.
At the same time?
Yeah, kind of. It was kind of like
double dub.
I think, because we were all very much just sort of, and I think there was sort of, when they go to the toilet together and you think, what are they talking about? What they're talking about is these guys are fucking losers. What do they talk about in there? You.
Ending it with you.
But so they went off and clearly, and I can't remember which we went, but they went on this two trips where they were going off to, travel, probably, getting nailed by men that weren't us. Fair play. Live your best life, Queen. Enjoy yourself. So we were like, fuck them. Let's do our own trip. And we organised a lad's holiday to France.
So far, so good.
Because you know what French women love is ironic rappers from Devon. So we drove down, me and my mate Liam and Jack and my mate Mark, and we drove down to France, and it was just it was so shit. And we drank some beers in an old men pub, and then we all taking selfies for Facebook. It was just grey in the background by a 10. But we thought we were having this revenge trip because all their photos was them in bucket parties in Thailand with ripped Aussie guys, And we're just all there fucked and drank 9% lagers, probably fought each other, passed out by 9 because we started day drinking at 1. And we went down to a place near Biarritz, and we were out on the, we rented this wooden sort of chalet thing on a campsite. And we're out on the decking, and we're trying to we thought we'll sit out here and some women will walk, but there's no women anywhere. It was just nothing. And so we were sat there, and these two guys from Hastings came past. They were called, I can't remember, Minton, their surname was. And turns out one of my mates was freestyle rapping at the time, and they came and joined in. And suddenly, me and my mate Liam were we weren't rapping. We were this is fucking cringe. We're here to meet women. And it just became this all-night session, and we became friends with these guys, and we went out to try and we went out to the local town, and me and my mate left early, and we went back because it was just fucking non-stop freestyling, which is awful. From even if you could be with Tupac, and by after an hour you're like, stop, you know what I mean? Not everything needs to rhyme, and we left them out, and it turns out that they ended up getting in a fight with these guys, and I think the Castings guys were quite tasty, and were like, you know, they were the real deal. We were fakes, you know? And they hit this guy, and they knocked someone out. By this point, me and my mate are back at the cabin using one of those dongles to try and like download like World Star like knockouts or something on, you know, fucking pathetic. And we were in bed, and they came back. We woke up to them coming back at 5 a.m, and they just had the shit kicked out of them by these local French kids. Apparently, they say, and I'm not sure how true this is, that someone pulled a shotgun on them, but they had a dog. The French guys had a dog, like one of those big Dobermans. And
they love dogs.
That Minton guy was knocking everyone out, and they just set the dog on him, and it just went for his leg and like ripped his leg apart. He ended up in hospital.
Quad.
Yeah. He was fucked. He ended up in hospital, had to have jabs, everything. And they just came back. And I remember waking up, it's like, this fucking afternoon, like, we just want to go home. We lasted 4 days. And so this was meant to be our revenge, you know. let's go meet some ladies and show them what they're missing.
Did you get back with those 2 girls?
No, but we're actually friends to this day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Went to one of their weddings, and the other one's, you know, comes to shows with her new man, supportive.
That's good. That's
a good end.
To know. It's a very good end.
Yeah.
Thank you, Red.
Cheers,
Thank you for
mate.
talking to me. I'm glad that you found comedy, because I fear for your safety if you hadn't.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there you have it, Red Richardson. I'm exhausted from laughing. That was absolutely brilliant. Now we need a favour from you. If you're enjoying these, please do us a huge favour. Go and leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts, and leave a comment. Tell a friend. Keep sharing the videos, and we'll keep making more of these. I've been Seann Walsh. This has been Class Clown. Thanks very much.